welcome to Life Guidance from Beyond. We're your hosts, Deborah Rogers, holistic occupational therapist, certified trauma specialist, and intuitive healer, and
Jenna Murthy, communications executive by day, and intuitive medium and spiritual coach by night. On our show, we'll be channeling wisdom from beyond to help you tackle the everyday challenges of being human.
So let's explore the wisdom beyond and find new ways to navigate life together. Hi, this is
Jenna.
And I'm Deborah. And today we invited the Pleiadians to speak with us and you. So we just opened up the Akashic Records and inviting them in. And that's actually, if you don't use the Akashic Records, you don't actually need to use the Akashic Records to invite them in. But that's a method that Jenna prefers, and I go along with it. It's kind of interesting.
I feel a sense of safety when I use it because it's a prayer. So we're only invoking the most loving of energies, and we're protecting ourselves with our own guides and in angelic realm. So that's why I love this form of entering into connection with other beings.
And I think that's important, like for channeling or doing work like that, or even prayer, is having a ritual like that kind of centers you, but also grounds you. And in the Akashic prayer, it's also about gratitude and thanking the masters, teachers, and loved ones as well. And what a beautiful way to go into channeling.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, thanks. So we invited the Pleiadians, and I felt something on the right side of me, and
yes,
Jenna noticed that too. Do you still feel?
And I felt like it was leaning over your shoulder, looking at this prayer and thinking, why are you doing that? I'm right here.
Yep, and I heard that too, like, we don't need to do that, but again, it's just part of our ritual that feels good and helps us get more centered.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the Pleiadian's still over my right shoulder?
It feels like there's more. It feels like a line of them now. A line of...
I feel like the back of my shoulder blade.
Oh, really?
It'd be cool if somebody could actually see that was watching.
Yeah. I see it in my mind's eye, but I'm not seeing anything physically in this room. And so sometimes people ask, well, what do you mean by your mind's eye? And so I always say, like, picture your kitchen at home. And that image you pull up in your mind is your mind's eye. So when I say I see an alien being next to Deb, it's a little less shocking when it's just in my mind's eye and not like physically.
Yeah, I think I would freak out if I actually
saw it. It
like
feels
some
quite
people
large.
do.
A large presence, at least.
Yeah.
Could be its energy, too. But
I think it's a large presence. So what are the Pleiadians, you might be wondering? And we mentioned aliens. So when I ask that in my head, I get the sense, and I hear, and I even see an image of like their light beings, their higher level, their you could say them from the fifth dimension, if you'd like. But they are here, and they've been here for centuries, even more than just centuries. Just helping Earth, helping humanity, helping our evolution, as well as I feel like they're also healers, and they can speak telepathically, depending what your gifts are, whether that's auditory or clairvoyant or just sensing, or even like automatic writing, even. Is another telepathic way. So we can connect that way because of their level of consciousness and their abilities. Anything else that you get?
And we're raising our vibration to meet them because they feel like they're at a higher level. And in order for us to meet them kind of halfway, it's like merging a bit with this other realm. And so it can impact how you feel. Like my ears sometimes feel like I'm going up in an elevator, like, and they're hurting a little bit because of the pressure. It feels like a lot of pressure to me when I'm going from our regular day-to-day realm to a higher one.
And I think that's also what the Akashic Records, like we're talking about doing a ritual, it's trying to center and ground, but also raise the vibration so that we can connect a little more easily and get information a little more easily. Yeah. And the Pleiadians are actually the ones that were telling me, like, let's get this going, this channeling business going. Since we do it anyhow, might as well just record it. And kind of spread the word, let other people know about them as well as other things that we've been talking about. Yeah. So let's ask, why are the Pleiadians willing to talk to us?
So when you asked that question, I immediately got, because we really care genuinely about your humanity. And we look out for you. We worry about you. We're like almost overlooking the whole planet.
The dog's trying to get out.
God, Rosie.
Yeah. So they're overlooking the planet.
Because they genuinely care about us. And they want to see us succeed. I'll do it.
Okay. So let me connect and see what I get. Why are they willing to talk to us? So what I'm getting is that the Pleiadians are willing to talk to us because they've been working with us for quite some time now through evolution, and they guide us through these different shifts of evolution. And now, as we mentioned before, there is a shift of Earth and the shift of people, and they're helping to guide and support us through this shift that we've been going through for some time, and that we will continue to go through for a few years, and that it's going to be amped up. So also there's like a process of, as energy is changing overall, it's almost like getting easier to connect with more people, and more people are beginning to expand their consciousness. So there's more support that they are becoming familiar with, that they're connecting with, that's around them. And so they're willing to talk to us and let us, and it's almost like letting other people know too. You might be sensing things, you might be sensing that your consciousness is expanding, or you might be questioning, are there really aliens or other more intelligent beings? Can I connect? And so Pleiadians is one that you can, I hear the word, like, kind of play with it and see if you can connect as you begin to expand your consciousness, whether that, and also telepathically playing with that. There's a lot more people also that are beginning to, they don't like the word channel, but channel, and that's more just a telepathic communication. So I'll stop.
Which is what you're doing now. You're channeling what you're hearing and learning from them instantaneously. You're just...
Yeah, and it's funny that I hear that they don't like the term channeling. I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. It's just communicating. So, we're at, like, there's different dimensions, there's different levels of awareness, and we're, at this level of awareness where we communicate seeing each other. But there's other ways to communicate. And it may be an image, like you mentioned, in our mind. It may be auditory, and that's just a different way of communicating. It's just like mediumship, seeing someone that might have been deceased, or getting a message, or hearing someone. It's just a different level of awareness. Right? It's a different sense that we're using, and I think people are beginning to open up and not be so fearful of the idea. There's definitely more expansion. And that's what I mean by expansion. It's more that we're like expanding our senses. We're beginning to open up and sense like, oh, I feel like there's something else, or what else is there? And that's what I mean. And so they're part of that. It's almost like what I feel is that they're here waiting to connect, but they're also kind of pushing a little, and not in a bad sense. They're like, okay, we're here. We're connecting with you, like trying to see if we'll connect back, if that makes sense. Right? Yeah. Okay, I'll stop. I could just keep going. I'll
So
stop.
no, I would love for you to continue. We had written down some questions. So one of the questions was, why should we trust them?
I hear, well, why should we trust you?
Oh, really? That's funny. They have a sense of humor. I like it.
They're probably more trustworthy than us as humans, right?
Oh, perhaps.
Okay, so why should we trust them? What do you get?
Go ahead.
Did you get anything?
Not really.
Okay, hold on. Because we come from a different race, because we come from a different level of consciousness, where we don't, we come more from a wholesomeness, more from a love, more from seeing from a higher consciousness. We're not of trickery, or we're not a lower level consciousness.
That's helpful to know.
We're not seeking to harm or deceive. We don't come from that level. We come from another level that's much higher. And as you said, light beings. It's more like a light being, a loving being. We have so much wisdom that we can share. And that's really why you can trust us, because we're coming from this you would say positivity, this sense of good, right? We're offering goodness to you. We want to offer wisdom and healing as we help you, and as we have been helping you and have helped you in the past move and evolve. We help guide you. So you could even see us as guides, perhaps. Some people think of spirit guides as angels and all different types of spirit guides, and you could perhaps think of us as guides. We help to guide you. We help to try to move you along with into a path of higher consciousness.
That's beautiful.
And so, yes, we watch decisions get made. We try to help move you along and support you. But we do not, you have your free will. We do not make you do anything. And if you do something that we would preferably not be wishing upon you, we're not going to stop that either, right? Because we're not going to interfere in that way. Think of us, when we think of guides, think of us as a support. It's like we're here to support you. We're here to help lift you up and move you along. If you would like that, right? We're not going to be doing that if it's something you don't want, or if you're even afraid of us, right? That's not a place that we come from.
So I have a question then.
I forgot I was here.
Yeah, no, it's good. Stay in the zone. Let me do this part. So what kind of decisions or things should we ask for your help in managing as a human? We have such mundane things that we deal with on a day-to-day.
That is a very good question. We can help you actually raise your vibration, right? So just being in presence of us, as well as even meditating or telepathically speaking with us and listening also to the wisdom that we have to offer, it can help raise your vibration and raise you out of that slump, you might call it.
That's cool.
What was the question again?
Yeah, no. So what kind of questions could we ask you about?
Okay, hold on. So many people feel alone, and there's prayers, and they ask, what can we do? And it's letting them know that we're also listening. People have their religions, right, where they pray to God, to Jesus, or to whomever, but there are other beings around that are also listening. And I think it's important for people to feel us and to sense us, that they're not alone, right? And we're here to almost lift people out of their human selves, where they can get so bombarded and stuck in these emotions and thought patterns, and we can help just bring them out of that, partly by our vibration, partly by connecting and asking us for information, asking us questions. But also feel that sometimes you can feel as we're like, our hand is on your back and we're helping to hold you up. We're helping to support you and even like move you gently forward. Okay.
What type of wisdom do you wish
I knew you were going to ask that.
we would call upon you for?
Let me know if you get anything too. So there are many layers of wisdom that we have to offer, and it depends on the person. It depends on their level of awareness as well. But in general terms, it is partly we offer the power of you, right? You so often think that you're, how do I put this? Weaker or stuck, or life is against you, right? And that is like a facade. So we have wisdom that we can share where, like, just knowing that that is a facade and that there is so much more to you. So you have this this stuck version, perhaps you may feel. And then we see different levels, though. We see different perspectives that maybe you can't see, that we can offer to guide you. So, for example, you have such an ability to manifest, but you don't realize it. You make it so much more difficult than it really is. It is quite simple. However, you have all these classes and like layers and details and like 1, 2, 3, like all these steps of manifesting. You make things very, very difficult for you, and then it burdens you. Right? And then you start perseverating on, oh, why isn't this working? But things can be much more simple. And we tend to be, from this perspective, we're able to see simplified versions of living and how much more simple things can be. And so that is where the wisdom we can, in one way, offer to you, how things can be much more simple, right? Because you just like us, there's energy, right? And just because there may be different vibrations of energy does not negate your own energy and your abilities. You just haven't figured out the true abilities and the true amount of energy that you can utilize for yourself to propel you in the life you want, right? Right? And Deborah was thinking earlier how, so often we put focus on the government, we do elections, and then, they will take care of it. But then you forget about your own power for change, right? So you have the ability to change things. Don't just think of other people, oh, they can do this change or they'll do that for me, because then you negate your own power, right? So that is like a big part of wisdom that we would like to share. And we really want to emphasize the simplicity, right? The ability of thinking, everything you think, you create. So you're always manifesting and you may not even realize it. But then you do all these classes and steps trying to manifest what you want, not even realizing that you have been manifesting. But sometimes you put so much effort into it, it gets all boggled up. And you lose the simplicity of it, the simplicity of life. It's almost like you just keep tangling yourself up in a web or knots. And that's part of being human, but also being able to step out and see from a different perspective. And so when we're looking, it's like we're looking down at you, seeing different layers, different perspectives, while you're like looking up, like, oh, I wish I could be up there. I wish I could manifest that, feeling stuck. When you're not stuck at all. Because just because you think you're stuck sometimes because you're in this matter, right? You're in this body, but you're not stuck. You have consciousness. You are part of consciousness. There's a light within you that connects to so much. And there's such high vibration that you can connect to. So there is so much more to you than you realize. And it is, we urge you to take moments of silence to go in and feel that, right? Use your body to help you feel that, to sense, to hear, to see clairvoyantly, to experience it, right? You don't have to go so stuck in your body. Use your body to experience the essence, the expansiveness of you. Does that help?
That is very deep. And
We try.
it's a fascinating concept of how complex we make things. And I do know that when there's a specific set of rules we think we have to follow to manifest, that if you skip one of them, then you're worried it's not going to work because I forgot the step. And I could see the way it's easily tangled from there.
Right. And what happens is people can sometimes get so focused on what they want that they perseverate and they don't see other possibilities. Maybe what they want really isn't the best for them. Or maybe what they want, that one picture, well, what about over here? There's other ways of getting this. And it could be something even bigger. So sometimes you guys even limit yourself. Right?
That's unfortunate.
So we don't see it as unfortunate, fortunate. It's more that, if you're thinking steps, there's ways of being, right? And sometimes you get stuck in these ways of non-being. Does that make sense? So the more you be and experience being, the more expansion there is, the more you can open up to so much of who you are and what's available to you. And when you're not being, it's more you feel constricted and contracted in this body, in this matter form.
Yeah.
And you don't appreciate that you can use that form to experience being.
Oh, that's fascinating. We're efforting so hard down here.
Yes, that's a perfect word.
So
Efforting, yeah, it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of work. Being human, yes.
So I thought that a big part of being human was when we're born, we forget all that we are, that we can manifest. It's a purposeful kind of wiping clean, so you can start fresh and experience the human life. So how can we better understand our full capabilities?
Let me know if you get anything.
When you're channeling,
Oh, you stop.
I stop. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I can be present and ask the question.
Oh, okay. I want to hear
Otherwise,
if you get
I
anything
won't.
too, because sometimes you get stuff different. So why do we forget things?
We forget it purposefully to live a human life. So how can we reconnect to know what we're truly capable of?
Yes. See, why did I say see? God, Spanish. They don't speak Spanish, but that was so funny because my daughter has been taking Spanish. Okay. So think of it this way. I had to take a breath as I'm getting over pneumonia. Think of it this way. Say you are driving say Deborah is driving to your house, Jenna, and taking the usual path that she takes every time, right? And say on one day she decides to take a right instead of going straight. And then she takes a right and she goes to the stop sign and she's trying to figure out how to get to your house. So she's, all right, maybe I'll go straight. And then she goes straight and she sees this beautiful tree, and it's a willow tree, her favorite tree, and it's such a beautiful experience, and she just pauses and looks at it. And then she goes to the stop sign, takes a left, and she continues trying to figure out how to get to your house. But in the meantime, as she's driving around, which seems aimlessly, she comes to this beautiful pond, and then she sees hawks flying down, and it's just exquisite to her. And all of a sudden, because Deborah loves nature so much, she gets so connected and it just feels overwhelmed with being connected to nature, and it feels energizing, and she feels the vibrancy that she feels when she's out in nature. And then she continues down the road, still trying to figure out where on earth is Jenna's house from this path. And then she gets lost, and then she gets frustrated. So then she continues, and through that there's different experiences. There's experiences of frustration, there's experience of beauty and joy, there's experience of anger, and then she will eventually get to your place. However, she's taking the scenic route, right? She's taking the route of paths where she's going to have experiences that are meaningful to her. So sometimes if people come, and sometimes people do remember things, but not necessarily everything, when people come, they don't necessarily have to take that direct path, right? Because they're going to be taking that scenic route to experience more of what life has to offer. They're going to experience what might cause sadness and grief and anger. But because of that, they're also going to experience the opposite, even more so, because they know those emotions. And then they're going to come to an experience of joy and love, and it's going to have so much more meaning. And so it's so that people can take this more scenic path to really continue to grow and learn who they are. So when people come, it's not always like everybody has come completely enlightened. People come because there's still more to learn. There's still more to grow, more consciousness and expansion, more vibration, more connection, even more ways of finding closure to other experiences they might not have had closure, such as a past life or an experience before. So there's so many reasons why people do not come in just knowing. And there's different levels also of how people do come in. Some people completely forget. Some children remember, but then they forget because of conditionings. Other times people will open up. So there's also different ways people come in, how they reconnect to themselves as well. So there's many intricacies with that. But overall, it is like this path of learning, this path of experiencing, and then again we go back to this path of being also, right? So eventually, if you can go on this path of being lost, but then you've learned from your experiences how to be with being lost, and it's not being lost anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
right?
It's really deep. So
does that help?
It helps so much. I have a question that came up while you were talking. What do you wish humans did more of?
Love.
Really? That came fast. Why?
Yes,
Why so fast?
Because there's much hate and anger in this world, and every time you try to evolve, you disevolve. Right? It's when will you learn how important, how powerful you can be by loving one another, by coming together, right? There's so much anger and fear in the world, and part of that is because people feel disempowered and disconnected. And when you think of the power that anger and hatred and fear create, does anyone ever consider the power of love, because loving and that connection of love, and I'm not talking about being in love with someone, I'm talking about the essence of love, realizing we're all brothers and sisters, right? We're all family here. So realizing that if everybody came together, the power of that would be unstoppable. And what could be created from that could be unimaginable, even.
Yeah, sounds amazing.
Yeah, it does. Yes, because so when people and love is also your word. There's other words, but it's more like a sensory experience or sensation that I'm sensing. When people love and connect, right? Connection is huge too, and joy. But when people connect and see each other as brothers and sisters, and yes, I know some brothers and sisters don't get along, right? But seeing each other for the spark of light that they are. One, that negates some of the sparks of light that may not be doing good in the world. However, but when people come together, what happens is there is an expansion, right? And it's almost like there is this telepathic connection, right? We speak telepathically to ourselves and to you because we are so connected, right? We don't need to go about it in the way you guys go about communicating. So the more that someone people together can evolve together, the more you can actually connect to each other on sensory ways, on other ways. So, for example, have you ever been so close to someone that maybe you shared the same dream, what Deborah has done before, or that you can finish each other's sentences, right? Or you know what each other's thinking, and you and Jenna have, or me and Jenna have done that. So that is because there is a connection. And when you connect, your energy connects. So imagine that connection growing with groups of people. And how beautiful that can be. However, you aren't there yet because people become, and this is generalized, become so consumed by your thoughts. And when you are connected at that state, your thoughts, remember, they create. You must be careful of your thoughts, right? Because your thoughts become that much more powerful because the whole collective can hear it or feel it or sense it that much more.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So there's a whole evolutionary process, but beginning by loving one another, seeing, as some people say, the God within each other, seeing the divinity of each other, seeing that we're all just trying to do our best, right? Humans are all just trying to do their best.
Not so much judgment.
Yes, right. When Deborah looks into another person's eyes, realizing she is also seeing a part of her in that person. And people do not understand how, when we look into each other's eyes, there is a part of us in each other, right? So I'm saying I'm hearing them, I'm saying me, so if that's confusing. But so we all suffer, right? We all have had hardships. We all have had grief. We've all experienced anger. We've all experienced betrayal, but we've all experienced love and joy. So there's this connection of experiences, right? And that long road, that scenic route that most humans do take, is allowing us to have these experiences so we understand these emotions, and therefore we should be able to understand one another and see each other, see ourselves in each other. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm just going, so I don't know if it's coming out.
No, it's beautiful. It's very meaningful, especially for the times we're living in right now.
Correct. And the thing is, what is happening and will be happening, think about it. If there's hate and anger, what is really needed? What is that trying to show? It's trying to show the opposite is needed. There needs to be connection and love and kindness, right? So we need to realize that what is coming up, fear even, we need the opposite. And the more that comes up, the more strongly we see that and feel that, the more it's saying, okay, we need to figure out how can we experience for ourselves and for those around us in the world the opposite, right? And when bad things happen or things that people do not want to happen, and there will be changes that will be happening, think of it as it's like grand energy coming in trying to shake things up. And you have a choice to go with the flow, or you have the choice of figuring out, like, what is this, self-reflecting, what do I need to do to find the opposite of fear, to find the opposite of anger, and how can I connect with others, and how can I help others even?
That makes sense. So during times of worry, fear, chaos, going inward into the place of love, there's a reason for that. I've heard that advice many times from others, but now I'm starting to really understand it based on the wisdom you're sharing. So it almost can help to transmute those horrible vibrations that many are carrying. So it's important to find that community that you can connect with on that heart level in order to keep our vibrations steady and high enough to help balance any negativity that we're witnessing, and to be empowered to make change if we feel it's necessary, and not just fall into line like we've been conditioned to do.
Right, because you each are more powerful than you realize. And we don't always like the term high vibration for those who don't understand it or it doesn't resonate with them. It's more about what makes you feel good, right? And hurting others may make some people feel powerful, but that's a fake power, right? And that doesn't really make you feel good. So what makes you feel good? And like kindness, helping someone can make you feel good.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
It's like observing your acts, what your actions of how it makes you feel good. And when you feel good and you feel more love and joy, it's almost like it's catchy. But you also want to experience that with others. You're like,
yes,
I want you to feel more joy.
Yeah.
I want you to feel more love, right?
Yeah.
So it's a different magnetic energy even.
That's so cool. So I can see now what type of wisdom you have to share.
Oh, that's
Oh my
question.
goodness. Yes.
I forgot that was the question.
I think that maybe what we could do in the future, if you're open to it, is to think of some themes and ask you for wisdom based on themes.
Okay.
And I think I need to tend to my dog.
Okay.
So should we
Yeah, we can sign off.
sign off?
So just thanking the Pleiadians and the one specific that we talked to, though I'm hearing it's also collective. So thanking all the Pleiadians. And I'm also hearing that the Pleiadians like reach out to them, and you may think like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's coming up for me. That's crazy. Let's just go with it and play with it and have fun, because they are available to you to help with their wisdom, but also their love and their healing energy. So that was something else they want to say is like, reach out to them for support. So thanking everyone. Anything else?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. Bye. Send us any questions too if you have any. Bye.
Bye.
Thank Thanks for joining us on Life Guidance from Beyond. We appreciate your listening. And don't forget to subscribe.